Cliff Richard was born Harry Roger Webb on October 14, 1940 in Lucknow, India. His childhood was marked by the tumult of the Second World War as his family moved to England while he was an infant. He grew up in post-war Britain, surrounded by the new sounds of American rock and roll and rhythm and blues music, both of which would have a huge impact on his style. Although a difficult childhood in transition, he possessed an early prodigious talent and love of music, learning to play the piano and guitar and singing in school concerts and local competitions. His professional life was started in the late 1950s when he formed the band The Shadows, as they were then called the Drifters. Their partnership was at the heart of his achievement in stardom, as The Shadows' individual instrumental sound blended with Richard's suave, charismatic voice to deliver a sound that found its way into the hearts of an entire generation. In 1958, he launched his first single, Move It, which is commonly known to be one of the very first true British rock and roll successes. This innovative song not only made Richard a central figure in British popular music, but also helped lay the groundwork for the British invasion that would go on to take over the world's musical landscape throughout the 1960s. During his lifetime, he enjoyed unprecedented commercial success and exceptional longevity, rising to become one of the best-selling artists in the United Kingdom and the world. Over 6 decades, he released over 70 albums and 130 singles, most of which became #1 hits. His range as a performer is being able to switch between rock, pop, gospel, and even musical theater with ease speaks of his versatility and commitment to his work. Tracks like Living Doll, Bachelor Boy, and We Don't Talk Anymore not only topped the charts, but also became cultural references that captured the changing tastes of successive generations. Apart from his success as a performer, Richard gained respect for his professionalism, modesty, and fanatical commitment to his fans. Popularized by his neat appearance and friendly demeanor, he never varied from a public image that contrasted with the frequently disorganized lives of most of his contemporaries. His honesty, coupled with consistent talent, made him a cultural icon over several generations. His charitable work and contributions to the music world have been rewarded with many awards and accolades, including a knighthood in 1995 for charitable services and services to music. These awards are in recognition not only of his musical legacy, but also of his philanthropic nature and devotion to charitable works. Even with the years rolling by, he still performs with incredible energy and unabated enthusiasm, influencing fellow professionals and hopeful musicians alike. With over 130 singles to appear in the UK charts, more than any other solo artist in the history of Britain, his impact on the music industry continues to be unfathomable, opening up the way for generations to come of British pop and rock artists and demonstrating the lasting strength of discipline, commitment, and enthusiasm. In 2013, he came out in November with the fabulous rock and roll song book, a very personal work in tribute to the great rock and roll music that had jump-started his professional career. The album was an album of tribute as he performed the greats of classics performed by greats like Elvis Presley, Little Richard, Chuck Berry, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Buddy Holly. For Richard, these artists were inspirations, and the album enabled him to look back at the music that originally spurred his passion, yet present it to a new generation. Issued as he marked more than 5 decades as a presence in music field, the album was both a nostalgic nod and a confirmation of his lasting place in entertainment. The album debuted on the UK charts and ultimately went to #7, a remarkable achievement in an established market with a grip by younger artists. It was subsequently gold certified by the British phonographic industry, denoting sales of more than 100,000 copies in the UK alone. The success meant more to Richard than financial. Thematically, it represented sustained relevance, devotion by lifelong fans, and the thrill of new generations embracing rock and roll's enduring vitality. Following the success of this, in November 2016, he released Just Fabulous Rock and Roll, a further tribute to rock and roll's golden age. The album achieved a special notice for its innovative virtual duet with Elvis Presley on blue suede shoes, a virtual wedding that emphasized both Richard's respect for Elvis and music technology advances since the 1950s. The album also included new versions of classics like Roll Over Beethoven and Great Balls of Fire, highlighting Richard's vocal prowess even in his mid-70s. The album was a commercial success too, as it opened at number 4 on the UK charts and also went gold, testifying to his capability to stand against the best even 2 decades into his career. Together, the Fabulous Rock and Roll Songbook and just Fabulous Rock and Roll are witness to his love of the music that inspired him and to his remarkable longevity as one of Britain's greatest entertainers. Although he has enjoyed a long and fruitful career, Richard has never married, a fact which has been endlessly fascinating to fans and the media over the decades. This part of his personal life was brought to light in 2010 when a letter that Richard had written in October 1961 to his first serious girlfriend, Australian dancer Delia Wicks, became public after she died of cancer. In the moving letter, Richard wrote of the sacrifices his profession entailed. Being a pop singer, I have to give up one priceless thing, the right to any lasting relationship with any special girl. I've just been forced to make probably one of the most important decisions I'll ever have to make, and I hope that it won't hurt you too badly. He was establishing himself as one of Britain's top pop stars at the time, and the letter exposes the contradiction between fame and personal relationships. The relationship with Wicks continued for 18 months, and the letter is suffused with seriousness of their affair and with grief at ending it. Richard described the duties drawing him in opposite directions. After his father died, his family depended on him heavily, and his identity had become inextricably linked to show business. He encouraged Wicks to look for someone free to love you as you deserve to be loved, and who is capable of marrying you, being sensitive as well as considerate of her future well-being. In 2010, after her death at the age of 71, her brother remembered how broken-hearted she had been at the time of the split, but also remembered Richard as a friendly and nice man. This segment accentuated the emotional trade-offs of his profession and its lingering effect. Throughout the years, he ventured into other relationships that mirrored the difficulty of coming to terms with fame versus personal satisfaction. At 22, he briefly dated actress Una Stubbs, and towards the later part of the 1960s, he seriously contemplated marrying dancer Jackie Irving, whom he has called utterly beautiful. The relationship failed to materialize in marriage, and Irving subsequently married entertainer Adam Faith. The 1980s saw another publicity-grabbing romance, with Richard contemplating marriage to Sue Barker, the former tennis champion. Their romance was the subject of much attention, and Richard openly spoke of the likelihood of marriage, though afterwards insisted that marriage was not necessary. Barker also publicly admitted her love and affection, highlighting the real bond they had even if it did not end in marriage. In tandem with Richard's tale, the life of Andy Gibb has been recollected as dazzling and tragic. The Bee Gees' youngest brother became a superstar quickly in the late 1970s, captivating audiences with his good looks, charm, and singing voice, but his career was cut short when he died at the age of 30. There were personal demons behind his success that overshadowed his profession. Cliff Richard was publicly quiet about Andy for years, even though their lives had intersected in the entertainment industry. In an unusual moment of introspection, Richard finally opened up, delivering a moving salute to Andy's ability, adversity, and heritage. It began with the admiration for Andy's uncommon talent. Andy was one of those uncommon performers who appeared to possess everything. He possessed the looks, the voice, and the charm that attracted people immediately. He didn't sing tunes, he lived them. He made you feel each note. These are the words of sentiments of the fans who viewed Andy as a beyond pop artist, seeing him as vulnerable and authentic. Richard commented on the pressures that Andy was under observing how his overnight success was a blessing and a curse. Success arrived so soon that Andy did not have much time to establish stability, making him exposed to the cruel side of the industry. Richard also talked openly about Andy's personal demons, especially his addiction wars. It's heartbreaking when talent like that is dulled by pain. Andy had slogged more on his shoulders than he ever admitted. The fame, the expectations, and his own slogging battles, it was just too much. And when you don't have the right support, it's incredibly easy to lose yourself. His sympathy highlighted the human aspect of Andy's tale and reminded listeners that there was a man behind the fame, struggling with issues that fame made all the harder. Meanwhile, Richard highlighted Andy's capacity to bring joy to others. What I always admired about Andy was his ability to light up a room. Even when he wasn't feeling his best, he could make other people feel good. That's something very few people possess, and that's why people adored him so much. He continued to speak of the tragedy of Andy's untimely death. It's one of the biggest losses in music, really. 30 years old isn't an age at all. He had so much more to offer. I sometimes think about the songs he never got to record, the performances he never got to give, and the lives he never had the chance to touch. It's a reminder of how fragile life can be and how important it is to look after one another. In conclusion, Richard thought about Andy's lasting legacy. Andy's story is tragic, yes, but it's also full of beauty. His voice still plays on the radio. His performances still bring joy to people, and his name still means something to those who loved him. That's the legacy of a true artist. He may not be with us anymore, but the music keeps him alive, and I think that's what he would have wanted. Through these reflections, Richard humanized Andy Gibb in a way only someone with similar experiences could, offering not only a tribute, but also a reminder of the pressures of fame, the fragility of life, and the enduring power of music to outlast sorrow.